All right, this is problem 15, and as you can see, it's a flip-flop, which is a D flip-flop, with a couple of changes over the past couple problems. Just note, first of all, they have an asynchronous set and reset. Now, the little bar over the top of that means it's active low. If you want to reset this thing, you set it at 0. If you want to set this thing, you set it at 0. So if you have these things set at 1, either one of them setting at 1 basically disables that part of it, which is why there are parts in here where you can see set and reset at 1, which means you can ignore the set and reset parts. It's not trying to do that. These are only active lows. Next thing you see is that there is a pulse here, and this little guy means that it is edge triggered. And edge triggering can happen either on a positive pulse or on a negative pulse. This one does not have the little bar over the top of this, so this is going to be a positive edge triggered flip-flop. We'll notice that it'll latch on to the value of D as long as you got a positive going pulse and you don't have the asynchronous sets and resets kind of taking over the situation. So let's give this one a shot based on that. On the first part of this, we have an asynchronous set. So this is going to start off with a high value for Q, and then it'll get up to this point, having had both of these things been effectively disabled by setting them at logical 1, where it has a positive going pulse, which means it will begin to latch on to the data at D. And the data at D says D is going to be 0, so it'll follow through on that value of D through this. And remember that this is not the same thing as a gate-enabled flip-flop, so it does not follow D. It latches onto D when you get the positive going pulse. So this will keep on going across here up to this point where we have yet another positive going pulse. Set and reset are 1, so they're disabled. Now it latches on to D. D is still 1, so it's going to go up to 1 at this point. Now it'll kind of track across here like so, again ignoring the fact that D is going down because it's not an enabled value. It's a positive going triggered pulse. And then let's see what happens when you get to this point. We have a negative edge, and then on the clock pulse, which doesn't do anything to this, but this asynchronous reset does. As soon as you hit this area, it's the asynchronous reset sets this back down to 0 again, so it begins to track across here as an asynchronous reset. Okay, it is only when the next positive going pulse on the clock hits that it reads the value of D. The value of D is high, so it jumps up to the high value of D at this point, and then begins to track across here. Then it hits another asynchronous reset, so the value at this point goes low, and at this point it begins to track across here like so, and we will have it stay tracked across here until the next positive going pulse, which is right here, where it begins to track the value of D, which is still at 1. So at this point, positive going pulse makes it go up to D equals 1, and there's my pattern that I get across here for this problem 15.